Hi, I'm Don from Big Don's. Yeah, we've been a pop-up in Perth for about 7 or 8 years, and we opened our first shop 12 months ago in an old industrial unit in Ashfield, inner east Perth. Started in my yard in 2016, and I was selling food via Instagram, and I was busted by the local council and hit with a $30,000 fine for being an unregistered restaurant. And at that thought point, I thought, I better get a food truck if I want to keep this dream going. So it's mostly focused around brisket, but you know, pork belly, ribs, house-made sausage, and real sort of Texas-style American barbecue. Well, we were just lucky enough to be given a Chef's Hat review, which was something totally unexpected for a cuisine like barbecue, I think. It's pretty humble food, but we're trying to elevate it and to take brisket as good or better than you'd get in Texas. And we're really lucky that in Western Australia we have fantastic beef, which is probably the reason we've been able to do this. So we get most of our beef from the meat company in Esperance. Pardue beef up north gives us quite a bit as well. And there's a couple smaller suppliers in there. But the key for us was saying, hey, we'll take all of your stock for brisket if you can trim it just the way we need it, which most briskets in particular in Australia are trimmed for export, so they tend to cut through the decal or the fatty end. And so I said, can you leave the entire thing intact? We need a Packer style cut brisket, and we can show you what we want. We'll pay for all the extra trim and fat that you don't remove, and we'll use it to make tallow and, you know, use in the shop anyway. So getting a supplier that could do that, and where you're willing to take 100% of the stock, and now we've had some of these suppliers for 5 years, and yeah, it's good relationships, I think, is probably the reason we were able to do that. Our smokers are all fired with jarrah and a little bit of Mari, so it's Western Australian wood and Western Australia beef. 3 or 4 of the pits have been made here in WA. They're older ones. They're not bad, but we have learned a lot in the design of barbecues over the years. I think we have about 10 on site, and we have 2 more coming from the US. So by the end of this year, we will probably have about 8 pits in full rotation in the shop, and each one's going to be 4,000 liters, so 30,000 liters of cooking space, which would definitely be the biggest actually in the world, including Texas. There's only 1 or 2 shops that'd be on that size. So in little old Perth, like, who would have thought, right? So a standard week is probably receiving stock on Tuesday, and we start trimming briskets on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we use all that trim to make sausages, so a full day dedicated to making about 1,000 links, and we probably would have trimmed around 100 briskets there. On Thursday, we're doing sides, sauces, and beginning prep on some of the other items on the menu. Friday is cook day, so we're cooking about 1,000 to 1,200 kilos of meat. And then on Saturday, it's service day, so we're doing sausages, pork ribs, all the extra sides, and we're serving it all in about a 4-hour window. So we're only open one day a week for 4 hours. It's hectic, yeah. We open to probably 100 people in line. The food's all been prepaid, but we have to serve about 300 orders in about 300 minutes or so. Maybe it's a bloke thing, but just I went down a rabbit hole on a certain hobby, you know, and it could be anything. It could be fishing, or it could be, you know, woodworking. But for me, it was brisket, and I just wanted to cook it perfectly, as best as I could, and as good as anyone in the US would serve it. 7 or 8 years on, we're still improving 1%ers every year, and now I've got a team of people who've probably surpassed me. So, you know, this year, John, our senior cook, would cook probably 3,000 briskets in a year, whereas it would have taken me the previous 7 years to cook that many. So the team now has probably surpassed me in terms of what quality food they can put out. We're about to sign a 15 to 20-year lease for this industrial warehouse, and we're gonna build a brewery and a licensed venue next door. However, the food is still only gonna be 2 days a week, Friday and Saturday, because the workload to prep it is so intense. For us, the focus is on the food, and that means limited amounts, because that's the workload that it takes for us to produce it. It's not something you can pull out of a warmer and serve up after 8 hours at the end of a long day. It has to be served fresh. Quality in, quality out. I mean, we're serving Wagyu beef, we're serving expensive quality meat, and it shows on the other end, for sure.